Yeah.
Peace. I have a few minutes. We're going to read the rest of this. You guys carry on with me because we have to read this to see if this is talking about the Israelites. Remember, this is his most important piece of evidence. He turned back to the Libyans who trod Egypt. There's many records of the Libyans and the Hittites and the people of the area, the Syrians, fighting Egypt. Great is the dread of Egypt in their hearts. Their leading troops were left behind, their legs made to not stand, except to flee. Their archers abandoned their bows. The hearts of their runners grew weak as they sped. They loosened their water skins and cast them down. Okay, you guys tell me when this starts to sound like the Exodus story. Their packs were untied, thrown away. The vile chief, the Libyan foe, fled in the deep night alone, no plume on his head, his feet unshod. This must be talking about Moses, I guess. His wives were carried off from the presence. His food supplies were snatched away. He had no drinking water to sustain him. The gaze of his brothers was fierce to slay him. His officers fought amongst each other. Their tents were fired, burnt to ashes. All the goods and the foods of the troops, all the goods were food for his troops. When he had reached the country, he was mourning. Those left in his land were loath to receive him. A chief, ill-fated, evil-plumed, all said of him, those of his town, he is in the power of the gods, the lords of Memphis, the Lord of Egypt has made his name a curse, merely the abomination of Memphis. So is son after son of his kin forever. Beniari Mariamun will be after his children. Merneptah, content with Ma'at, given him as fate, he became a proverbial saying for Libya. Generation says to generation of his victories. It was never done since the time of Ray. So says every old man speaking to his son. Woe to the Libyans, they have ceased to live in the good manner of roaming in the field. I'm going to stop right here. See where it says, woe to the Libyans, they have ceased to live? That's the sentence that has the Israel in it. And they say it says, woe to the Israelites, their seed has ceased to live. This is talking about a war between Merneptah and the Libyans in like 1200 BC, 1213 BC. What's happening right now? What does this have to do with Israelites? Somebody open up a Bible from Genesis to the book of Numbers, Leviticus, and show me where the Israelite stories match this. If this is talking about the Israelites, then where in the world did this ever happen in the Bible? When did this ever happen? In 1200 BC, the same time when they were accepted into Egypt, according to the Bible, and given their own land. I'll read a little bit more of this and then I'm done. Woe to the Libyans. By the way, this is their sentence that says, woe to the Israel. Woe to the Libyans, they have ceased to live, in good manner of roaming in the field. A single day of their strive was halted, and the single year was to Gehennu burnt. The Teheju burnt. Seth turned his back upon their chief. By his word, their villages were ruined. No work of carrying loads these days. Hiding is useful. It is safe in the cave. The great Lord of Egypt, might and strength are his. Who will combat, knowing how he strides? The witless fool is he who is taken on him. He knows no tomorrow. Who attacks his border? As for Egypt, since the gods, they say, she is the only daughter of Paray. His son is he who is of the throne of Shu. None who attacks their people will succeed. The eye of every god is after the despoiler. It will make an end to the foes. I'm going to stop right there. You guys just look up the Merneptah Stela. Look up, just type it in. Merneptah Stela, or as the whites call it, the Israel Stela, or should we say the Izzi-Rar Stela. And you can read what it says, the whole story. There's nothing in there that parallels with the story of the Israelites. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. There's nothing. Not one thing. In 1213 BC, remember, that's the date. 1213 BC. So what have we established so far? The Hebrew Israelites are liars. They will take images from Epi's temple, and they will call the image a Hebrew water boy who's 15 years old. They'll take the Myrna Patah stela, say this is talking about Israelites. The word that we just went over, and I showed you with every letter in the dictionary, says Isi Ra'ir, which is a word that they gave to the Libyans at the time, nothing to do with the Israelites. Israelites didn't even have an army until Moses. What date did the Israelites establish an army? After Moses. When the Israelites came into Egypt, they didn't have an army. They came as humble agriculturalists, farmers, and they were given a land, and they were trading sheep and cattle. They did not fight Myrna Patah. Show me in the Bible where the Israelites were fighting Myrna Patah. Where is that? So the stories are false. Ayodele has presented his facts. His facts are to no avail. The information is, the pictures are wrong, the dates don't match, Sobek Hotep doesn't match, Ramesses doesn't match, the Ipru papyrus says Iparu people, and here's the Israelites. See? Iparu. Then they changed the P to a B. Ibaru. Then they add an H. Hebrew. See? It says Hebrew. Iparu is not the word Hebrew. There's no H in the word. Do the Egyptians have the letter H? Absolutely. As in the word Patah Hotep. As in the word Hotep, which the gentleman greeted me, Hotep. That starts with the letter H. So they wanted to say Hebrew. They could have said Hebrew. The Egyptians do not have speech impediments. They can say Hebrew. I can say Hebrew. A 5-year-old can say Hebrew. But Myrna Patah and Ramesses and Sobek Hotep can't say the word Hebrew? Come on now. So, anyways, there's no Israelite stela. There's no such thing as that. Myrna Patah never called it that. The word is Isi Ra'ir with 2 R's, no letter L. The letter L exists in Kemet. And if one of them is the letter L, then both of them are L. So it would say Is La'il or Isra'ir. There's no Israel. How are you going to change one letter R to the letter L and keep the other one as the letter R? Lies, and deceit. Brothers and sisters, do not hate your ancient ancestry, the ancient ancestry that can be proven and documented that's in museums. Not paper, not the Bible, which is just shards of paper. Okay? Kemet has a wealth of history, is the origins of many things that we have today. That's a whole other class. But do not believe that the Israelites were ever in Egypt. Do not believe that the Israelites were ever in Babylon. Do not believe that the Israelites were ever anywhere. Do not believe that Jesus was black or Jesus was white, because there was no Jesus. Do not believe that Moses was a black man or Moses was a white man. There was no Moses. These are fictitious fairy tale stories, and that's why the gentleman does not want me to read the Israelite Bible stories and parallel it with his evidence, because they don't match. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, peace and Hotep. I hope you guys learned a lot. Please leave comments and tell me what you think, and please present the facts. Hotep.